Welcome to reading class, 3rd and 4th grade. Happy Friday. We are in the middle of our poetry unit right now. The last poem that you wrote, that was a couplet. So you wrote some couplets that had some rhymes with it, and they were fantastic. The ones I saw already were wonderful. So what we're going to be working on today is called an I Am acrostic poem. So what you are going to need right now is you are going to need the last page in your packet. It looks like this, okay? And what is an I Am acrostic poem? If we take a look at that, an I Am a poem is a poem that tells about you. This type of poem is an acrostic poem. To write an acrostic poem, you list the first letter of your name and then write something about yourself for each line of the poem. The first word of each line starts with the letter of your name. So they have the example here for Mary. My birth city is Denver, Colorado. After college, I moved to Hacienda Heights, California. Remembering my friends is important to me. Yesterday, I got a new puppy. Oh, that was very nice. Now, as you notice, if you look at this, the last statement is a sentence and the rest, they are, I guess. I mean, if you actually look at them, she probably could end those with punctuation, but you're not required to do that. So if you're wondering, do these have to be complete statements, complete sentences? They do not. If they end up being that way, great. If not, it's fine. They can be phrases. So this was one that was done. I did one for my name. Now, she just did her first name, but I'm expecting you to do your first and your last name, okay? So make sure you do your first and last. Hey, if you want to even be more creative and do your middle name as well, go for it. But you're only required to do your first and last name, okay? So I did Mrs. Felsing. I know my first name isn't Mrs., but for the purposes of today, we'll say that's my first name and this is my last name. So what I did for M, so remember, you're going to write it, your name, vertically, okay? Now you could do it on the back of the paper, or if you have another piece of paper you'd rather do, it's fine, however you want to do it. And it doesn't matter to me if you want to do it with marker, crayon, colored pencil. You want to play around and use different colors. However you want to do it is perfectly fine. You do not have to do cursive. You can do printing, but if you want to do cursive, you may. All right? For this purpose, I'm going to use blue and red, and then I'm going to print. So for the M, I put down, I'm like, and this is all about me. I wrote married to Brian Felsing. That's my husband's name. That's the first thing that came to mind. Now you notice I don't put a period there because that's not a sentence. But it's a statement and it gives some information about me. Okay? But it's not a full statement. For R, I put reads every day. And I read every single day. And I have books that I really like to read. I have to admit I'm reading a little more now that we're home, but I am reading a lot of work and I'm also taking a class, so I'm also reading books for that as well. For S, I put Sunday is time for church. So thankfully, Pastor Karen has church services for us. So we're able to watch those. I watch those with my family on Sundays. So even though we can't go to church, we are still able to watch church services. And we do it every single Sunday to try to stay in that routine so we don't lose that. This was hard. I didn't know what to do. I was asking my children what I should do for that one. For F, I put down forgives. Because I feel like as people forgive me, I try to forgive others, because especially when we're all stuck in the house and sometimes we don't get along all the time, sometimes we get annoyed with each other, it's really important that we forgive each other. So I try to forgive, and I'm hoping that people also forgive me, okay? I put learning teacher. I'd much rather be a classroom teacher, but you know what? Hey, this is better than nothing and we're still learning. So e-learning teacher. For L, I put down, when I have time, loves playing games. I love to play games. We played lots of games so far. I'm hoping to play lots more. S, I sing every day, sings all the time. Sometimes we just make up silly songs around the house. We just sing for no reason. Or if we've been sitting here doing e-learning and everyone's quiet, we're all working, then after a while we'll just start bursting into song and we're loud. Because we can be, and it helps. Another one, I put Illinois is where I live. N, I'm gonna put down needs to get out of the house. And I do. We go on bike rides, we'll go on walks, we'll try to get out. And I do have to go get groceries at least once a week for myself and my family. So it's nice to get out of the house when we can. So when it's nice outside, see what you can do about it. Just getting outside, playing in the yard, even just going on a bike ride, a walk, or whatever. But I need to get out. And then finally, oh, speaking of bike ride, for G I put down goes on bike rides. Honestly, one of the pluses of this whole thing, this is probably the most bike rides I've ever gone on in the spring ever. So this is my acrostic poem. Okay, as you can see, it's not that complicated. You just use the first letter of your name and then you add phrases or sentences to every single letter. I kind of like the look of the blue and the red because it adds to the poem. It kind of helps you see where the name is and then you add the rest of it. So I recommend you do that because then it'll kind of pop out a little bit more. Make sure you do your first name and your last name, and I look forward to seeing your poetry.